Who's wrong and who's wronger? In this corner, followed by millions, James the Exploding Unicorn Breakwell. And in that corner, ignored by millions, Steve Dash Rinko Levens.
Yeah, I know. The guy's a total wannabe. I know, Breakwell. Just look at him. He wishes he was me. I mean, the guy's a disaster. Hey, I gotta go. Hey, everybody. Hey, welcome. Welcome back to Wrong and Wronger, where one of the co-hosts loves and serves the show, and the other one, well, Breakwell is just unencumbered, uncaring, and James, are you even there today? Are you there?
I am, because for once, you answered my text message. So we've gone through an evolution. At first, you would accept my text message and agree to a time, and then you would just not show up. Then you would read my text message and reply, but say, I don't know what time, I'll get back to you. And then this last week, it was new, I messaged you, and you just didn't respond at all.
James, the swirling S show around me made me back burner your text for the time being, and I thought, as soon as I am out of hell, I will respond to Breakwell. And I think I responded to you this morning, although you had, in fairness, sent another text this morning. You were concerned about my safety, my health, and my well-being, right?
Not even the slightest bit. But I am concerned that once again I would have to tell Judy P there was no episode. That falls on my shoulders. She never messages you. I'm guessing you don't reply to her either. And so she always comes to me, and I have to say, hey, I tried to set this up, and some guy won't get back to me.
You did write to me early on last two. We usually record these on Tuesdays, and you got to me early, and I thought, I got a window here, so I don't need to respond immediately. And I guess the window extended to 7 days. What am I supposed to do? I don't know your timeline all the time, James.
I mean, that's fair, but I feel like I have missed an epic number of disasters. And also, I do feel like you're cheating on me. Like, during the 3 or 4 or 9 weeks when you didn't have a spare 25 minutes to record with me, I saw you on Twitter posting about scheduling episodes of your other podcasts. I was like, are you kidding me? What is this?
Been super busy over at the community. Well, this is the window where all the rock stars aren't touring, so I've got a big surge coming through that I'm kind of chasing my tail, trying to get everybody scheduled and recorded. And in the meantime, too, by the way, I put out, just put a period at the end of that one, and then you'll know my entire college life. But I put out a call because I figured we have no content because that is the name of the game with this show. So I said, hey, it's the holiday season. James, he's a giver. So if anybody has questions for the Breakwell, send them to me and I'll ask. We're recording Wrong and Wronger at 3 o'clock Eastern. And James, the listeners have answered the call. I have no fewer than 9 questions.
What? Actually,
yes.
Before you get to that, I have another bone to pick. So the only thing I know about your life is when Elon Musk shows me your tweets for some reason. His algorithm is very confused and thinks I care about you. I saw on there, though, you met the Exploding Possum from Twitter, and you said,
I did.
And I quote, he's taller than me. I guess that's not an exact quote, because you said taller. Well, how tall is he?
He is 6'3".
I'm supposedly 6'2". The last time I went to the doctor, they said 6'3", and I chose not to believe them. I ignored that data set.
Well, it's funny. When we shook hands, I said, damn, you're tall. And he said, I know, I'm taller than Breakwell. And I said, hey, how tall are you? He said 6'3". I said, how tall is Breakwell? He said 6'1 and a half.
6'1 and 3/4 is what I always go by. But you know what? Now I feel like, I've never needed that extra inch for anything, but now I feel challenged. Now I'm going to have to get out a tape measure and remeasure how tall I am just to be sure. Because I don't want to slight myself an inch. I don't want to give him the height title if I don't have to.
You know what's funny? Did I tag you in on that post?
Yes, you absolutely did.
I probably did, because I knew it would chafe your hide, and I was correct. So I feel fabulous that this has worked out exactly how I wanted it to.
There are literally hundreds of millions of people on this earth who are taller than me. But the fact that he had to rub his tallness in my face now makes it a direct challenge. And if I don't have that inch yet, I'm going to have to start eating better and grow, I guess. I guess that's on the agenda for now. But anyway, on the immediate term, let's go ahead and answer some questions.
Okay. All right. And Judy P did answer a question, and I feel it's only appropriate to lead with Judy P's question.
Okay.
Okay, now this is for both of us, but I will pitch it to you, James Breakwell. Judy P, I think she just wanted to sneak a question in there. It's not specific to either of us, but she would like to know, what is our favorite and our least favorite or worst hated food?
Food, man.
See, now you know how it feels, because I never know the questions ahead of time on 10 Minutes to Save Your Marriage, so you're getting caught flat-foot right out of the gate here.
I'm not really flat-footed. I mean, everything we do is ad-libbed and unprepared, because we're just awful people. It's just that I don't structure my life in, like, a hierarchy of favorites. Like, this is better than that. It's like, I will eat this or I will not eat that. Like, that's kind of the breakdown. So I would say, I think, you know what, I've got a friend who cooked a steak recently, and it wasn't that long ago. It was like 6 months ago, and I'm still talking about it. It was the best steak I have ever had, and I have overpaid for some great steaks. I have ruined some great steaks myself, and this was the best grilled steak, hands down, better than the time I dropped a couple $100 at Indianapolis's Premier Steakhouse. So I would say a New York strip steak prepared by him is my favorite food, and my least favorite food has nothing to do with flavor and everything to do with humiliation. Because growing up, my mom used to make, it was like hash browns or potatoes. It was something that had little bacon bits or bits of breading on the top. But it was on the top, and it was just loose. It wasn't like affixed to the substance at all. So when I would eat, I also breathe. And I would breathe in the bacon bits or with the breading, whatever it was, and I would choke with every bite. And I'd finally cough it up. And I'd go to the next bite. And that topping would make me choke again. And anyway, that was like 25 years ago, and everybody still talks about it. And anytime any food has a topping of any kind, that comes up. So I'm going to have to say that food with the bacon bits on top was my least favorite. What about you, Steve?
Well, I had a favorite until you mentioned steak, and I thought, I don't even care how you prepare it. Like, steak is so good. And I will even double down and say I like beef steak and pork steak about the same. Beef might have a little bit of an edge. It's a little more succulent. But you get pork steak with a nice marble of fat through it. I love that. It's interesting. Neither you nor I picked like a desserty kind of thing. And sweets are good. I like them. But there is nothing better than a good, juicy cut of meat.
Pork steak.
Oh,
go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, pork steak. Cover your pet's ears when I say that.
It's, I just recently started having it. We went to St. Louis, and I guess they're real big on it down there. It's not a cut of meat I'd ever had in Indiana. We'll have, like, pork loins or...
Really?
They'll make it into pulled pork, whatever. But if you take that pork shoulder butt and you slice it up into steaks, like a steak from a cow, it makes all the difference. It's absolutely delicious. And so I started, they don't offer that cut of meat up here. I started buying pork shoulder butts and cutting it up myself, and my kids were enamored. I will say I probably like regular steak better, but pork steak is orders of magnitude cheaper. So I would say overall, the pork steak's probably superior.
Boy, I remember when you got me going on the keto diet, and I don't remember if we were talking or texting when I was leaving the grocery store, but I remember sending you a picture of my cart with a whole bunch of beef in it. And I was thinking of that this morning when I was thinking about Judy P's question and thought, I haven't had a lot of beef in the last year because it's so damn expensive. Like, I don't even know what that cart full of meat would cost nowadays, but I'm fairly certain I'd have to mortgage the ranch again just to get that same quantity of beef.
Now, we know what you like. What do you hate, Steve? You hate so many things.
I hate James Breakwell, although I've never eaten
obviously.
him. And I'm not opposed, so if the opportunity ever arises... And let's just be clear, you'd be dead first, so don't get any ideas. But my most hated food, similar to yours, has nothing to do with taste, but it has to do with pain. And when I can't remember if I've told this story on this show or not, but when I was 12 years old, The Sting was on TV, starring Paul Newman and Robert Redford, and I ate a half of a sheet cake, like from a wedding. a half of a sheet cake, and a couple of pickles. And I vomited so hard. I was like Old Faithful, the geyser in Yellowstone, for about 3 or 4 hours. I was so sick. And I have not eaten a pickle since 1979. That's a true story.
I think we talked about foods we've thrown up before. Mine was the chocolate donuts. And for the record, it was not because I ate 16. It was their glazed donuts with chocolate frosting on top. I didn't keep them down for long. We went to Coffee and Donuts after church. I ate my body weight in donuts. I came home. Flu was going through the family. That's when it chose to manifest. I have not had a chocolate-covered glazed donut since then.
God, I can't believe that. They're so good.
Yeah. And then I did the whole keto thing and carnivore thing for a long while, which, by the way, I've taken a step back from that. I'm just counting calories now. I couldn't. I think it's fine. It did a lot of good for me for a lot of years because it stopped me from eating my body weight in candy. But now, if I just maybe count the candy rather than eating infinite amounts of it, I'm thinking maybe I'll be okay. So we'll see how that goes.
I can count pretty high.
I cannot. That's why I use an app.
All right. Let's see. I'm not sure if we'll have time to get through all of these, so I'll just try. Well,
two-word answers for the rest. We'll do it.
Oh, all right. Adrian Lesko asked, I think he mailed it in too. What is the meaning of life? And what say you, James Breakwell?
You know, I get all of my philosophy from Rick and Morty. There's a moment in that one. They jump around universes and like different versions of them have died and they're in the wrong universe now and they just keep on living. And the sister is like really upset about it, and the kid, the boy, just doesn't care. And it's he says something to the effect of, "Nothing means anything. Nobody's meant to be anywhere. Come watch TV." It's like, what doesn't that? That's just that's just spectacular. That just sums up all of existence in a nutshell. There's a second moment on there where the inventor guy makes a robot, and the robot, what it does. Butter on the table, and the robot asks, "What is the purpose of my existence?" And the inventor guy says, "You pass the butter." And the robot looks really depressed and says, "Oh my God." And I just feel like that, both of those quotes together, I feel like they give you a pretty good idea of the meaning. But now you have to pick us back up. Give us something much more profound and much more uplifting.
Oh, well, mine comes from Futurama.
Okay, we're thinking along the same lines here.
So one of the characters is a robot, and in one episode, his head got taken off, and his head was still screaming at his enemies as he was being carried away. And he yelled, "Compare your lives to mine and kill yourself." There you go. I'm on a low-rated, semi-regular talk podcast with James Breakwell, and I don't know that I could hit any higher pinnacle in life, James.
The key is to set your sights low and still fall a little bit short. So well done, Steve. Well done.
Now, there was also a Dockers commercial in the 80s where a bunch of 30-year-old white guys were standing around wearing chinos and button-down shirts, playing pool and drinking craft beer. And just the camera was one of those where the camera moves around and it was bouncing and shaking, and they were all talking and philosophizing. And I always remember one said, yeah, if the phone rings, answer it. And I thought, that's words to live by. Except I never answer my phone when it rings, and I admire people who have the courage that do. Do you answer your phone when it rings, James?
Only when you call and when you've scheduled it. I think if you called me unscheduled, I would not answer. And there were like 5 calls I declined today, and they were all scammers. The only people who call anyone are scammers, and that's how you know they are a scammer, because they call.
All right. Well, Amanda Slack asks Breakwell a question, which I am curious to hear your answer to this
All
one.
right.
Is waffle really a terror?
It depends. she might just be a 7-year-old. I mean, you lose perspective. Other kids get older and mature, but she definitely uses scissors the most when she shouldn't. She definitely draws on the walls the most when she shouldn't. She's definitely the most likely to be in her bed watching her tablet after we've specifically forbidden her from doing that. She seems to view all rules as optional. Does that make her a terror? Probably not. I mean, she behaves herself at school, so we've got that. At home, she's kind of a wild animal. So you take the good with the bad.
Well, I'm going to piggyback on that question because Amanda, continuing down the parenting path, says, how does James feel about having a teenager in his house soon?
It's gradual. Having a 13-year-old isn't dramatically different than having a 12-year-old. In fact, I promised her I would play Lego Star Wars with her tonight. I'm supposed to be playing that with her right now, but this was the only block of time where I could schedule in this podcast for the first time in 9 weeks. So that shows you how I'm failing as a father already. But the exact second we end this recording, I'm going to dart into the living room and see if we can't get in some of that.
It's 11 weeks. 11 weeks Breakwell, not 10,
11. Whatever weeks. It is. I mean, it seems longer because I enjoy it so much. The gap, the break. Like I get upset that you reject me, but then I remember I don't have to talk to you, and then I'm transformed with joy. So, yes, I'm not afraid of having a teenager. I mean, I'm with an adult woman already. So I mean, you kind of got both of the ends of the age spectrum already, and having a daughter in the stage in between, I don't think it will be that dramatically different, and those are famous last words.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
All right.
Will any Breakwell ever set foot on the cursed Rattlesnake Ranch?
Absolutely. I want to go and witness your misery firsthand so I can think to myself, there but for the grace of God go I. I've certainly thought to myself, wouldn't it be great to be isolated and have land? And you have taught me, Steve, that no, it would not be great. It would ruin my life, my marriage, my finances, my very soul. So yes, I absolutely will go down there at some point.
All right. I noticed I was not asked that question.
We have discussed this plan at least 16 different episodes.
I know, but the plan has yet to come to fruition.
Yeah, well, I mean, you described your recent dealings as walking through hell, so I feel like I should give you a little bit of breathing space to work out whatever the heck is going on down there, which I still don't know what it is.
I don't either. I've smudged everything except the cabin I'm currently sitting in. The inside. I smudged the outside. So I might be in here with an evil spirit right now. And lo and behold, I'm talking to you.
Hey,
so I guess so. Somebody asked if my daughter and Nick, I have to use the quote mark, Nick, are ever coming to the ranch. And the answer, sadly, I have not said this on social media, but they broke up a little while ago.
Really?
So she and Nick are no longer a thing.
Did they give you the old line, it was mutual?
No, I didn't ask a lot of questions because I got the sense that I wasn't supposed to ask a lot of questions.
Gotcha. So has your daughter been to the ranch?
She has not.
Really?
Because of COVID. Yeah. And she's working. She hasn't been here. I don't think she's coming for Christmas, but we will go up there. Because all of my relatives are up there, we usually visit we visit her. She doesn't visit us. And so we have more money than her, I guess, so we can travel.
I mean, you had more money than her. Then you had a ranch, but
Oh, dude, you're so far in debt. I don't know if we're ever going to dig out if I don't sell a kidney. But yeah, no, she has not been here. And frankly, whenever my son is here, there really isn't anywhere for them to sleep. Like, it's a very strange arrangement that we have. You'll see when you get here.
I look forward to basking in the strangeness. You've quite a selling point.
Now, Exploding Possum did ask a question, but do you want to hear it or just screw that guy?
Well, I'm going to visualize him as being 6'1". Okay, go ahead.
I didn't understand the question exactly. I think he was trying to be funny, but you know how you tall people are. There's no humor up there. That's one thing that I've learned. But the two options, he gives an A or a B, and I don't like either of them. But here is the question.
Right.
Bratwurst. Do you eat bratwurst, first of all, James?
Yes, I do enjoy bratwurst.
Okay. All right, so the question will not be irrelevant. Bratwurst, with mustard and onions or with barbecue sauce and a side of potato salad?
I would go with neither. I never put barbecue sauce or onions on. I do mustard alone, mustard and hopefully hot sauce. So the question was based on a false premise. But if I had to choose one or the other, I would probably choose the mustard and onions.
Yeah, I would too, given those two choices. I am a mustard on hot dogs, ketchup on bratwurst kind of guy. And I'll tell you what, I've been getting into hot sauce a lot lately too. So you are perhaps subtly influencing another of my dietary choices.
I am just trying to lead you to ruin in every area of your life.
Oh, James, I have pooped fire on some mornings, man. It's an experience.
Whew.
All right, Eric Walker also mailed one in. He said, I don't even know. This is like I have to clean this. Marry, screw, or kill. One of those kind of questions.
All right. Let's do
But
it.
this is: would you rather lose your hearing or your vision?
Hearing. You know how many problems that would solve. I would never get yelled at for not hearing something. It's like I literally can't hear. If I'm not looking at you, I can't be held responsible. And you can live a pretty normal life if you can just see. But if you can't see, I mean, getting around is pretty difficult. So I would definitely rather lose hearing than sight.
Mrs. Steve would argue I've already lost my hearing. And it's funny you say, if you're not looking at me, I can't hear you, because I say that to her all the time. Like, she does 3 things that annoy me, and she blames me when I can't hear her. She will either begin saying something outdoors and then start turning away, and now she's like this by the time she's done. I can't hear the end of that sentence. Or she will wait until I start walking into the other room and then either start saying something or add like a participle, like a phrasing at the end of a sentence that I'm supposed to have heard and I don't. Or 3, she will wait until the car door is closing, and as soon as it closes, apparently she has something more to say that I wasn't patient enough to wait for her to finish. And in all cases, I can't hear. And she mumbles anyway, and this has been verified by a lot of strangers who also say, huh? So it's not just me. So I appreciate you bringing that up, James, and giving me a chance to unilaterally defend myself.
Sounds like you need to exit the room or drive away much faster.
All right, and the last question is from JDB. And I wrote this one down because I don't know if you even know what this is referring to. So
Okay.
I am curious to know how closely you follow my Twitter feed. The question is, has James ever been close to being on the Dead to Me list?
I did not know you had a Dead to Me list. I'd like to think I'm at the top of that list. How have you... We've done 1,000 podcasts together and you've never brought up the Dead to Me list? Are you still there?
You threw out 1,000. I was like, holy crap! Have we done 1,000 podcasts? We've crossed 500 easily, haven't we?
Yeah, I only exaggerated by 50% apparently.
The Dead to Me list is for people who irritate me on Twitter.
I see.
It's a real list, and the occupants of the list now wear it as a badge of honor. And when anyone gets added, they all sort of come out and congratulate that person, like they're now part of the fraternity.
Wow.
But you and I don't really interact on Twitter ever.
No.
Like, I don't know that we ever have, actually.
I will go and on a recording have an entire conversation with you about a tweet, but I will never interact with that tweet.
Well, that's just because Possum annoyed you. But I've been on Twitter over 10 years now. I got my 10-year announcement from Twitter over the summer. You have to have been on for more than 10 years because you were already established when I got there, right?
I didn't get any kind of notification. The only thing happening with my Twitter account is I'm going down. Everybody, when I go to a convention or something, they announce me as the guy with over 1 million followers. But with this big exodus from Twitter, I am now below 1 million followers. I am the guy
Are you really?
with 999,000 followers.
Oh.
I am a nobody, Steve. The one feather in my cap is gone. But really, I mean, that number is meaningless anyway. The number that matters is the number of engaged readers, and I mean, I've been hemorrhaging them for years. I was a nobody long before I fell below 1 million, so I feel pretty comfortable with that.
Well, when I first started, you were the somebody to me, and then I met you. And I just got to say, don't meet your heroes, people, because disappointment is inevitable.
But yet, I'm not on the dead to me list. So apparently you
No.
still hold a soft spot in your heart for me.
I have your picture hanging over my toilet. What are you talking about? Well, James, that's all the questions. I don't know if you have questions back for our listeners, like why are you here, that kind of thing. But I will say, those 9 questions came from 6 different people.
What?
James, we have 6 listeners.
I mean, you could ask questions without listening in. I mean, that's very easy to do. I still think we're plus or minus 3 on every episode, but we'll see. We'll see. Every time there's comments on YouTube. Maybe this week we should read the comments and they can sound off, and we can count them. See if we break the 3 barrier.
All right. Well, leave your comments on YouTube. That's where you can find this, and also everywhere that podcasts are served for the audio version. And until we meet again, which God knows might be a long time from now, so chew your food 32 times before swallowing. This is Steve Levis, Dr. Steve, for James, the rarely present Breakwell, saying thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and remember, as always, 2 wrongs can make a right.